Hello, my name is Keith Haswell. I'm a professional astrologer with 38 years experience in the business and 25,000 clients worldwide. It's my pleasure to welcome you to my website and to my teachings. Now, you've come to my website in order to get your horoscope done, and you are to be congratulated for being a believer in astrology, because science tells us that the planets can have no impact upon us, that astrology is a load of hogwash, and what they're not taking into consideration and what their instruments can't measure is the emotional level of energy and the emotional level of consciousness, and also the mental level of energy and the mental level of consciousness. So the religions of the world are all telling us that astrology is evil and the work of the devil and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of people in the world, the vast majority, who are atheistic in their thinking, or religious in their thinking, or scientific in their thinking, and therefore don't relate to astrology. But you're relating to astrology, and you are to be congratulated. Now, astrology works because these planets are living energy forms, and they are emitting ray energies into your reality and into your consciousness. Now, these planets are having impact upon you, and impacting upon you in three main areas of your life. The three main areas that you're concerned about is your sense of security, and that comes through financial security, but also emotional and mental security, that you're not under threat from within and also from outside of yourself. And then there's the area of relationships. You want somebody to love, and you want somebody who will love you in return. And this is a major area of your life, because without relationships, whether it's relationships with people that you work with, relationships with relatives and neighbours, relationships with friends, relationships with children, relationships with loved ones, relationships with partners and spouse, relationships with business associates and so forth. These are all relationships, and your relationships are where you have an opportunity to communicate and to express your love, and also to receive love, and with the intimates in your life to be known and to be understood. These are all basic urges. And then the other one, the third one, is to do with the job. Meaningful work is a very, very important part of our sense of self-esteem and value fulfillment. Now, these planets are implementing cosmic law. They are implementing the will of the divine, what you might say. God and Goddess have got certain plans for you, and those plans are wonderful to help you to become more of who you really are through a multiplicity of lifetimes that you experience here in a space-time rule set that we know as Earth. So it's very, very exciting when you start getting into astrology more deeply, on the aspects of the spiritual side of it, and the science of meditation and reincarnation. I've written 2 books on these subjects that I'm happy to share with you in printed format, sent to you by email, or audio format with my voice and backing mystical music to take you in and out of meditation time and time again, to help you to become more of who you really are. But what we're focusing on here is your horoscope, and what I'm going to be looking at is those 3 areas of your life: your security, your relationships, and your work and employment and business and career, meaningful work. Okay, so what we have is we've got the 12 houses of the horoscope are segments of your life. And the events and conditions of your life are fitted into these 12 different categories. So you've got the first house of self-initiated efforts, you've got the second house of security and finances, the third house of communication with those close to you like relatives and neighbours, the fourth house of the home environment and the family and those who share the home environment with you, and the fifth is the segment of children and entertainments and amusements, sports, and also the sexual side of life and romance before love, romance before marriage, romance before you get serious and so forth. Then there's the sixth segment, which is health and diet, and the way to keep yourself healthy is through meaningful employment, and that fits into that category as well, the job. Then there's the seventh area, which is to do with partnerships and spouse and those who are your close intimates. And then there is the eighth house of transformation and change within yourself and the area of death. Ninth house is higher education and travel and expansion of your consciousness through religious and philosophical studies and so forth, metaphysical studies. 10th house is ambitions and high achievements and career. 11th house is to do with friends and group social activities, other people's children. And the 12th house is the house of hospitals and institutions where you can have solitude and get it all together, introspect and reflect upon what you've learnt from the other 11 houses. So it's all very complex, but it's all also down to earth where you're living and where you're experiencing your life. Now, these planets that I'm going to be working on for you in this reading are Saturn, and that takes 2.5 years in its movement through the zodiac. As it passes through the houses of your horoscope, it takes 2.5 years in one house. And Saturn is implementing the law of economy. In other words, Saturn is going to be saying to you that there must be a usage of energy, emotional, physical and mental energy, must be used wisely and economically. Any misuse of that energy must bring a corresponding adjustment to your consciousness and awareness of that misuse. And so Saturn embodies that third ray of commerce and industry and business, and also practicality and the law of economy and the wise use of energy. And so as it sits in an area of your horoscope, it's going to have a different impact than what it will with somebody with another sign, with a different sign than you. It's in a different house of their horoscope than it is with you. And so you're going to be experiencing that for 2.5 years. Errors that you've made in the usage of energy over the last 26 years are going to come home to roost. And you're going to be able to learn during that time about using energy wisely and economically and practically, and planning your things out practically and so forth. This includes mental energy and emotional energy as well. So I'll be looking at Saturn for you and telling you what the impact of that is shortly, and I'll tell you a little bit about yourself as well. And then there's Jupiter. Jupiter embodies the second ray of love wisdom, and it is a beautiful planet in desiring to expand and to expand your consciousness and awareness to become more of who you really are. And it does this through love, it does this through relationships, and it does this through study, research and investigation, and it does this through education, and it does this through higher thinking and learning about God and Goddess's plans for all of us. And so Jupiter takes 12 months as it moves through a particular house of your horoscope. So it sits in a house for 12 months. So I'm going to be able to tell you what is Jupiter, what is the impact of Jupiter during 2014, and what you are experiencing now prior to moving into 2014 in your life through the impact of Jupiter. So it's sitting in one of your houses of your horoscope now, and I'll tell you what the impact is now, and also 2014 it's in a different house than what it is now. So I'll be able to tell you all about that, and how you can expand and grow and reach and stretch to become more of the giant that you truly are. And then there's Mars. Mars brings energy and will and sexual energy quite often into the area of your life where it's sitting, and it can bring conflict and tension and stress and anxiety and so forth. And I'm going to be looking at the movement of Mars in the first 6 months of 2014. It's sitting stationary in one particular house of your horoscope and introducing a lot of stresses and tensions into that area of your life. And so therefore you've got to deal with that. So this is what I'm going to be working on in your personal horoscope, which I'm going to be looking at shortly. And it's nice to have you here to be able to talk with you and to share with you some of my understanding about these things. And I do this for you free of charge because I want to be of service. I've seen the impact and the benefit that thousands of people have had through going through my intensives or getting extracts out of my books and so forth, and having astrology readings done by me. And so I want to help you to also grow and reach and stretch to become more of who you really are. And so that's what we're going to be looking at in your horoscope for you now. What I want to do for you now, Taurus, is to analyse your personality a little bit, and also the way that you interact with the events and conditions and circumstances in your life. And bear in mind that this is a lifetime reading that comes just from the signs on the cusp of your 12 houses. So it's a limited perspective that I'm able to analyse here from these limited astrological significances. And I can certainly tell you a lot more about yourself personally from horoscope number 2, which I can tell you where you've got your planets and in the houses and so on and so forth. But this will just suffice to give you an understanding about the way that you basically interact with the world, Taurus. And also it's a lifetime situation that I'm giving you here, so a lot of these things can be for the past and therefore not a part of your life anymore, but a lot can be for the future and therefore difficult to relate to. So maintain an open mind towards the things that I talk about, understanding that if it doesn't fit you now, it could possibly fit you in the future. Now, Taurus, you're very possessive, you're very loving, you're always trying to seek balance and harmony within yourself. You love rich food, comforts, luxury, pleasure, relaxation, enjoyment, and you love music, you love beauty, and you're an attractive person. You can be a little bit possessive and jealous in your nature, and you can be too materialistic at times, but you do love walking around among the beauties of the earth, the flowers and the plants and the shrubs and so forth. As far as your money is concerned, you'll generally have 2 sources of income, and there's a lot of duality going on in your life as far as your finances are concerned. So you might not be able to tell the whole truth to one area of your life compared with other areas of your life which get a different story about your finances. So there's quite a bit of duality there as far as your financial matters are concerned. Now, as far as communicating with those close to you, you are very, very sympathetic and you have a very vivid imagination, and you love walking around near the water or driving around near the water. You're attracted towards the water, and you're very imaginative and very, very sensitive person in your dealings with relatives and neighbours. Now, you're very proud when it comes to the home environment. You like nice rich furnishings around the place, and you like parties around the home, and you like to be the centre of attention as far as the home and the family is concerned. You do become very fastidious as far as your social life is concerned, and you like to plan things out, and you do a lot of social activities perhaps with people that you work with. You could even work in the entertainment field, or you could work in restaurants and places of amusement and theatres and places like that, and you have a lot of interest in those sort of things. Now, you're always seeking balance and harmony around yourself, and you do that through diet and also through exercise. And you could have a job tied in with the musical side of things, and there could be a lot of dealings with the public in your job as well. Now, you seem to have a partner who is generally fairly deep and mysterious in nature, highly sexed, and that's what you are attracted to. Now I'm going to look for you, Taurus, at the location of Saturn in your horoscope at the moment, and this is in real time now. And then I'm going to look at the location of Jupiter in the now and over the next 18 months. And then I'm going to look at Mars. So you just sit back and relax now, and we'll see what we can see as far as that's concerned. Now, you've got Saturn in the 7th house of your horoscope at the moment. Now, with Saturn in the 7th house, it's a potential time of problems as far as marriage and relationships are concerned. There can be an illness involving a spouse or partner. There can be back and kidney trouble for you, and there could be court cases and legal matters that are drawn out and that you're waiting to come to a conclusion and that sort of thing. Now, with Saturn in the 7th house of your horoscope currently, and in the whole of 2014, Taurus, there's going to be potential for frustrations in regard to relationships. You've got to look at relationships from a practical point of view and try not to let your idealism get away with you. Try and realise that sometimes it's practical to stay together and to overlook the faults and weaknesses of your loved one. Try not to dominate and control them too much, and to realise that yes, you can make that relationship work if you look at things from a practical point of view. And there can be some possessiveness on the part of your spouse. They could have some illness, they could have some depressions and things like that that you've got to deal with. And there's quite a few potential there for frustrations and difficulties. It's not a good time for you to form new relationships. It's a time for you to reflect upon what you've learned over the last few years as far as relationships are concerned. And Jupiter is sitting in your 3rd house in 2014, which means that it's in your 2nd house at the moment. So 2013 is a good year for you as far as money is concerned, so I'm pleased to report on that. And it's going to be a time for you to improve your financial circumstances in life. Good fortune could come your way in 2013 with Jupiter in the 2nd house of your horoscope. And in 2014, when Jupiter goes into the 3rd house of your horoscope, you'll have a tremendous urge to expand your understanding. You'll be wanting to curl up with a good book, you'll be adding books to your shelf, and you'll be wanting to get into deep things. So you'll be wanting to get into philosophy and metaphysical things, and anything that's deep and can absorb your attention and that's a bit complex is naturally attractive to you during 2014. Now, with your dealings with relatives in 2014, one of them could perhaps travel overseas, or you could travel overseas with a relative or with a neighbour sometime in that period, or there could be a relative or a distant relative who comes and visits you sometime in 2014. But it's going to be a good time for you as far as motor vehicles are concerned, and all dealings with relatives and neighbours are favoured. There's a lot of extra social activities connected with relatives and neighbours perhaps, and there's also an opportunity for you to go for some beautiful drives in 2014 in the car. It's a good time for buying a new car, entering into contracts or agreements, buying and selling things generally are favoured during 2014 for you, Taurus. Now, Mars, Taurus, is in transit. It's stationary in your 6th house of your horoscope, which is the house to do with the job and employment and health and dietary matters. Now, with Mars being stationary in the 6th house of your horoscope for the first 6 months of 2014, there's going to be potential for tension and conflicts for you with the people that you work with. So try and keep things fairly calm and fairly cool as far as the interaction with co-workers and so forth is concerned. And there's going to be also potential for health trouble for you with regard to acid in the stomach. Well, now that I've gone through all of that area of your houses where the planets have been sitting and everything, where to go from here? Just a little bit of an epilogue here to help you to understand how you can go on with the job now that you've been exposed to this type of understanding and expanded your understanding a little bit further. I want to help you to become more of who you really are and to take full advantage of the science of astrology and the science of meditation. Meditation is a wonderful science, and by practicing meditation you can keep yourself youthful, and you can program to all the events of your life to occur more in accordance and compliance with your will, your conscious choice, more so than your subconscious will or your subconscious choice. And these events happen in your life most of the time by subconscious choices according to your attitudes and beliefs and your thoughts and your feelings and your decisions and your choices. They're your raw materials, and you bring those raw materials into events and conditions in your life through your desire, your imagination and your expectation. Well, I want to help you to clean out those emotions and to clarify your thinking so that your beliefs and your attitudes are not your enemies and not creating negativities in your life. So therefore, I'm going to be sending you some printed pages of my out of my book, What Really Matters, which covers the science of meditation and reincarnation and astrology, and in simple terms that you'll be able to relate to. And you can read them if you wish, and you can then also become more of who you really are by getting the audio version of my book and listening to that and over and over again, getting that sort of knowledge and understanding into yourself. And I'm happy to do a lot of work for you also by doing your horoscope number 2. If you're keen to learn, I'm happy to do your horoscope number 2, which is normally $20. I'm happy to do that for you free of charge. So I'm happy to help you and encourage you to expand your consciousness. My material will lead you into deeper understanding about yourself and about how you can become more of who you really are, and how you can create your reality more in accordance and compliance with your conscious choice and your conscious will, and become more financially independent, more successful in your work, happier in relationships, and so on and so forth. So I thank you for your attentiveness here, and I look forward to working further with you should you desire to go on into my teachings and become more of the giant that you truly are. God and Goddess love you and know your name, and they want you to become more of who you really are. Thank you.